this role. We've applied justice fairly and equally, regardless of one's sex, religion, or in this matter, if you talk about Freddie Gray, or occupation, right? So we have that, but it's also very important, as an African-American woman representing less than 1%, that my life experiences speak for themselves, right? I don't need any sort of cultural sensitivity training to know how young boys like Freddie Gray were being treated by the police department all across this country, right? So what are we doing? We have to holistically attack these issues. When I talked a little bit about that before, about systemically addressing the issues as to why crimes take place. We look at a city like Baltimore, and I'm just going to use Baltimore as an example, but this is every urban city in America, right? Let's not get it twisted. We have become complacent, right? We talk about the numbers of young black men that are being slaughtered in our streets. In 2015, it was 344. In 2016, it was 314. This year, we're all up to about 189, right? We talk about these numbers just as they're numbers. But we don't ever talk about the fact that 24% of Baltimore's population lives in poverty. 35% of our babies, our children, live below poverty. There are 18,000 vacant houses, 16,000 vacant lots. We don't talk about the unemployment rate between African Americans, young men between ages of 18 and 24, that is more than twice that of whites. Those are the systemic issues, and when you talk about getting to our babies, we really do. We have to be able to get to them before they get to the criminal justice system. So when we talk about Carlin's experience, right, I've taken a holistic approach, and I've been in office for 2 years and 7 months. It feels like it's been 27 and a half years. But I have a conviction integrity unit, where we've had our first exoneration of an individual by the name of Malcolm Bryant, who was wrongly accused and was incarcerated for more than 17 years. He was then, thanks to DNA evidence, exonerated under my administration. 3 months after he was exonerated, he died. When we talk about, policy work, we've worked with No Boundaries. They were knocking on doors and ensuring that we got accurate sort of accounting of what was happening in our police department, right? They were instrumental in the consent decree that is now on record. I worked with No Boundaries when we introduced police accountability reform. Those reform proposals were then adopted by the Association for Prosecuting Attorneys. When you talk about the work that you're doing with women in the jails, I've gone into the jails and worked with the Elevation program that has now been defunded by the state of Maryland, where we were talking and helping women as they transition from incarceration back into the community. When we talk about our young people, that has been a primary focus for my administration, understanding that we can't just be reactive. We prosecute 50,000 cases a year in Baltimore City. We have a 93% felony conviction rate. We also have to ensure that we're getting to our babies before they get to the criminal justice system. I have youth programs that are targeting, and I'm seeing them in classrooms as opposed to courtrooms, and you get targeted and blasted in the media because they're saying that's not your role. Well, why am I a prosecutor? I'm sitting up here and we're talking about mass incarceration because we have to have a seat at the table.